Hey everybody, Prepper Nurse 1 here. Today is Friday, May 25th, 2018. Beautiful, beautiful day here today at the homestead. Clear blue skies. And just kind of pan it around there. Oh, we got an airplane going right there as we speak. How funny is that? So, anyway, let's get right into the topic of the video today. 10% of you will not go to FEMA camps, the other 90% will. How will they make that happen? How could that possibly be that 90% of the people are going to go to FEMA camps willingly? Okay, here's how that's going to happen, and we're going to use a scenario, and we're just going to, there's so many different possibilities that could happen, how they could make this happen, but we're going to talk about one in general. Okay, so first of all, they're not just going to say, okay, everybody needs to go to FEMA camps. That's not how they're going to do it, guys. Okay, what they got to do first is they got to thin the herd. We got to have less numbers to deal with. So the first thing that they're going to do is they're either going to, we're going to just use one scenario. So we're going to use a scenario that they kill the power grid. Okay, so now they've killed the power grid. So the power grid is down. Your first 3 days, everybody is pretty much going to be waiting for the power to come back on, you know, and stuff like that. Once they realize that the power is not going to come back on, that's when panic is going to set in. That's when chaos and anarchy are going to start. You're going to have a lot of really, really bad things happen in a very, very short period of time after that. Okay, so let's talk about some of those things that will happen. Your inner cities will implode upon themselves. This is my opinion, but I don't see where I'm wrong on this one. Okay, your inner cities are going to implode upon themselves. And how do I mean that? Once they've used up the resources and supplies in the inner cities, they'll, in the meantime, while they're doing that, there'll be a lot of raping, murdering, just plain old carnage, without rule of law. When they realize that the police are not going to be out there to stop them, because the police are off taking care of their own families and taking care of their own loved ones, and they're not going to work, then there's no rules anymore. So when there's no rules, the criminals have free reign. And I don't care if you're not a criminal, if you don't have food and water in your house, and we got to remember something, folks, that 95% of people do not have a 2-week supply of food and water. 95%, okay? So that's something to think about, okay? If you don't have that already, give yourself that advantage by getting at least minimum of a 2-week supply of food and water. Now, when it comes to water, it's 1 gallon of water per person per day. When it comes to food, my suggestion is a combination of different things. Obviously, canned goods, real easy, really cheap to accumulate, okay? Your dry goods, your beans, your rice, those type of things, relatively cheap, okay? Now, if you're looking longer term, then you're talking freeze-dried foods, okay? So, you know, like I'm a reseller for Legacy Foods, so that's one way you can do it as well, okay? With long-term food storage, those things are going to last 25 years, and you're going to be in great shape. So you have that combination of food. When it comes to water, you're looking at 1 gallon of fresh water per person per day, okay? So those would be the suggestions as far as food goes. You can also do MREs. MREs are not as tasty, which are meals ready to eat. You can get those as well. But like I said, with the freeze-dried stuff, like I said, I have had Legacy. I've tried it. I really like it. I like it so much that I represent the company now, to be honest with you. So all that information, the link will be in my down below for my website at preppernurse1.com if you're interested in that part of it. So that's out of the way. Well, you know, I just wanted to share that part of it. But those are the things that you should have food-wise. Canned goods, you should have your dry goods, and you should also have, you know, like I said, freeze-dried foods as well, okay, long-term. Because the thing is, with the freeze-dried, you have to worry about it. They sit there 25 years. As long as you keep them in a cool, dry place, you're going to be good to go. And you'd never know the difference. And you're right, all you do is you add water, eat them, freaking good to go. So anyhow, so if you are in the city or anywhere, try to give yourself at least that 2-week advantage with food and water, because most people do not have that. So when they don't have food and water, people are going to do whatever they have to do to get that, okay? As far as water goes, being able to have a life straw, a way to filter water. They have the tablets. You can get the tablets to also sterilize and clean water. Boiling water is going to help. Filtering water. You know, having a Berkey water filter, having the Catadine backpacking filter, those type of things as well. Okay, so that's how you can make sure that you're going to have fresh water. So anyhow, okay, so having said that, so how are they going to control the people? So after this anarchy starts and people start going absolutely nuts, which they will, okay, and it's not just going to be the cities, guys. I don't want you to think that I'm just picking on people in the cities. It's going to be suburbia, it's going to be the country, it's going to be everywhere, because again, remember this is the key number. 95% of people are not prepared for a 2-week disaster. 95%. That's a scary, scary number. So if you can give yourself that advantage, do it, okay? So I'm going to re-emphasize that probably several times. So what's going to happen then? So the raping and the killing and the murdering is going to happen right away. Now, who are going to be some of your early victims in these type of situations other than victims of violence? All right? Your compromised people, folks. Anybody that's on some form of life support with a machine, okay? People that are receiving dialysis. Those are going to be people that are going to go. Your hemophiliacs, that if not with the proper medication, they're going to go. Anybody that is, you know, in nursing homes, the people are not going to show up for work, guys. I don't care what, you know, anybody says, they're not going to show up. They're going to take care of their own families, okay? Just like the police officers are going to do. The government officials are going to be nowhere to be seen because they're going to be hiding someplace, okay? So, anyway, the people in nursing homes, you're looking at an attrition rate, and this is just a guess, but I would say 95%. So 95% of your elderly in nursing homes are going to be gone. You have people that receive Meals on Wheels. You have people that are getting all kinds of government assistance and help so that they can survive. When that's not happening anymore, what are they going to do? And if you have people in wheelchairs that have to have, you know, different medical supplies delivered to be able to survive, and they don't have those, they're going to die, okay? So my guess was in the first 30 days of an event, your elderly would probably, in the nursing homes, would be mostly dead. Anybody on life support would probably be dead. Anybody that, you know, like your insulin diabetics, unless you have a good supply and a way to keep it refrigerated, you guys are in deep, deep trouble, okay? It's a fact, it's a reality. If you're on some kind of medications, my suggestion would be to start stockpiling medications as much as you can now, okay? And how do you do that if you only get a 30-day supply, Ed? Well, what you do is you take your 30-day supply that you're getting now, and maybe you take it every other day this month instead of every day, you know, depending on what kind of medication it is. And then that way now you have 15 days at the end of that month extra. The next month you do the same thing, and you get yourself to a point where you get yourself a nice supply, and you're going to use your oldest stuff first, okay? So that way your newer stuff is always fresher, but before you know it, inside of a few months, you got it yourself, you bought yourself an extra 45, 60 days, okay? So those are some of the suggestions that I would suggest as far as how do you get a stockpile of medication. Adding antibiotics, making sure you have antibiotics. And yes, you can use Fishmox, which is an amoxicillin, which is the same exact thing that they give human beings, okay? So that you can get that right online. You can buy fish antibiotics, and it's the same exact thing, okay? So what happens next, okay? You're going to have groups of people that are going to band together, and they're going to do all kinds of horrible, awful things. Now, probably my guess would be 6 to 8 weeks into this situation, you're going to have government agencies that are going to come out, and they're going to say, hey, here we are, we're FEMA, we're here to help. Come to us, okay? Now, who's going to come to FEMA, okay? So you're like, oh, I'm not going that, I'm not going. Anybody with medical conditions, if they're offering free medical help to help people, okay? Anybody that's compromised. Remember, we talked about compromised. People that are going to need those medical conditions, okay, are going to go and they're going to seek help. You're going to have people that are just going to be like, hey, they're offering help, I'm gone, I'm there, okay? Now, so the 10% that's not going to want to go to FEMA camps, who's that going to be? It's going to be your hardcore people that are either preppers, that are, you know, people that live out in the country and pretty self-sufficient. Your Amish ain't going. You know, the Mennonites, those people that live that old style, that know how to do those type of things. People that are pretty self-sufficient are not going to go. So you're going to say to me, well, you know, Ed, they're just going to leave you alone, that 10% of you that's going to stay out there and not go in? Eventually they'll come, and it's absolutely, once they have control, and the numbers are reduced to a reasonable number. I mean, if you have, inside of 60 days, I would say that half this country would be dead within inside of 60 days. Within inside of a year, it would be 90%. And that's my opinion. And you can take it or leave it. You can say I'm nuts, you can say I'm not, whatever. But within inside of a year, 90% of the population in the United States would be gone. Now, this is something, that event that would be triggered, guys. It wouldn't just be a United States event so that the foreign powers all of a sudden now come in and they invade us and they take us over. This would be like a worldwide event that was happening. So this would happen all over the world, all at the same time, okay? So if the government agencies that are in control have decided, okay, we're going to do this, and it's a staged event, and we're going to work this, reduce the population. The ultimate goal, guys, is to reduce the population. So now your troublemakers, people that are preppers and stuff like that, they can be mopped up later. They're not a concern right away. Okay, and I honestly believe that. It's not going to be like, it's not the first thing they're going to do is say, hey, let's go get preppers. They are going to have their hands full. They're going to have their hands full with the general public that's screaming and begging for help. Okay, but I'm telling you right now, the majority of people, and I say 90% of the people that survive whatever initially happens, are going to go and they're going to seek help. And they're going to seek it for a lot of different reasons, okay? Some of them are just going to seek it because they're lazy and they don't want to have to do anything for themselves. Some of them are going to go and seek that help because of medical conditions, or their kid is sick. You know, your kid ends up having something that you can't cure and you can't help. You know, you're going to go try to find somebody that can do it and that can help that child, okay? Those are realities, guys. I mean, we're talking hardcore, serious realities. If I was in charge and I'm the government, that's how I'm doing it. I'm going to set off some kind of an event, either be it an EMP, it could be a fake EMP. You wouldn't know. Flip a switch, kill the power of the whole country, and leave it off, okay? But the thing is, you're going to say to me, Ed, well, what about the nuclear power plants that we have all over? You know, they may have a contingency plan to be able to shut those down. They're not going to let those melt down because that would change everything. It would kill so much, it would be unbelievable. The powers that be that want this world reduction in population know what they're doing. They are not stupid, okay? So they have a game plan. If you don't think that they have a game plan, then you are sadly mistaken. And let me reassure you, anybody that I'm talking to, for the most part, in this video, that game plan doesn't include you. It doesn't include me, so we need to watch out for ourselves, okay? That is very, very important. We need to watch out for ourselves. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I really think that this is important. You know, like I said, FEMA, in the guise of offering help, that's what they're there for, right? They're an agency to help. That's how they'll get people to voluntarily, willingly come in, and most people will do it for a myriad of reasons, be it health-wise, be it your kids, be it that you just can't take it. You've been out here for 6-8 months and your food's run out and you can't do it anymore. That's why people will come in. Very, very few people, 1 in 10, will stay out and not come in, okay? And unless you are have an organized group ahead of time, your chances of survival, guys, are very, very slim. And I'm being honest here, okay? And I've said it over and over and over again in my videos for a long, long time. You have to have a group. If you do not have a group, you do not have a chance, okay? My opinion, just sharing it with you guys, all right? I definitely want your feedback on this. I want to hear what your thoughts are, okay? Hopefully I covered everything. I hope I did, okay? So, again, you know, any questions, comments, please, you know, down below. Like, comment, and share the video, guys. The first video I did on this is almost up to 1 million views. So I just wanted to do a second part of this. Okay, one of the things I did want to talk about too real quick, we're going to talk about hate groups, okay? And in the first video I mentioned 2 hate groups. And I got ridiculed and crucified because I did not offer other hate groups, okay? You're going to have groups of people out there that have an agenda for their own race only, be it white, red, black, or yellow, okay? MX13 is a group that's going to watch out for themselves. You're going to have the Aryan Nation is another group that's going to watch out for themselves and their own. You're going to have your Black Panthers, okay? There's another group that's going to watch out for themselves. These groups that are already, now here's the thing, here's the key, they're already organized. The Ku Klux Klan, okay? Another one. They're organized. They're going to watch out for themselves, their own group, their own people, if you will, okay? We need to be prepared for those type of situations. I'm a big believer that we're all human beings and that we all bleed red, and we need to watch out for each other. But those particular splinter groups of people, hate groups if you will, they are going to be looking out for their own and themselves, and are looking to do a maximum amount of damage on anybody of a different race that they don't agree with. Okay, so those are things that are going to be quelling the numbers as well. Okay, and it's scary. It really is to think about. It's a scary situation. The biggest concern you're going to have realistically, and I said this in a video recently, the people that you're going to watch out for the most when an event happens, be it orchestrated by the government or not, is going to be your neighbors. Those are the ones you got to watch out for the most, guys, because they're going to come there, and they know you have stuff, they're going to expect you to help. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to do this video, do a second part of this, because I left some things out in the first part, and I just really wanted to go over this again. So this is the second part of this, and I'm hoping that I covered everything this time. Again, I'm going to have my link below to my website. If you're interested in the Legacy long-term food storage, the link is there. Check it out if you're interested. Not trying to do this as a commercial, just saying that's there available. And actually right now, today is the 25th. Through the end of the month, Legacy is doing a huge sale, 20% off of everything that you purchase through Legacy. And like I said, on my website, I sell Legacy foods, okay? And also, there's a couple package deals that they have as well right now. So ending this video, I'm going to tell you guys, remember, hug and kiss the ones you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen. And remember, guys, STD. It's one step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you can accomplish it. The only one that's going to stop you from getting there is yourself. Nobody else can do it, okay? Work at it methodically, guys. Small baby steps. You get there. You will. You'd be surprised how fast you can put supplies together in a very short order. And I don't want to hear you don't have any money to do it, because there's always money to be made. There's always some kind of hustle out there where you can get a few extra bucks. And $5 a week. Don't tell me you can't come up with $5 a week. I don't want to hear it, because you can. If you're really, like, if you're in New York and you tell me I can't come up with $5 a week, you're full of crap, because we have the bottle return law here in New York. You can go to any place, and there's bottles and cans laying around on the ground all over the place. Go pick them up. Use that money for your prepping, okay? It's out there. If you want to work, it's out there. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.